Good afternoon, and welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the International Association of Woodcarvers. This is Saturday, November the 30th, 2024, a little bit after 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving, those of you who celebrated this week. And I appreciate you all taking time back out to come in and meet with us today. Before we get started with our presenter, I want to tell you a little bit about some stuff that's coming up. Today on our meeting, we have Chris Brickle on. He's going to talk to us about his carving journey, and he's going to do a paint demo, so we look forward to that. Next week, we'll be off, so we're not going to have a meeting next Saturday. I'll be down in North Carolina teaching a class down there. Didn't get a presenter for that week, so we're going to take the week off. On the 14th of December, Jim Feather is going to come in and do a demonstration. On the 21st of December, Jim Heiser is going to come in and do a demonstration. And then I just found out this week on the 28th of December, Ryan Olson is going to come in and do a demonstration. So we're going to round out the year with Ryan Olson. He's going to be talking about his upcoming class and some of the things that he's got going on. So we look forward to having Ryan again at the end of the year on the 28th. I want to talk to you a little bit about some classes that are coming up so you can take advantage of these. Dwayne Gosma, who is on our meeting today, is having a class on December the 10th on carving a Viking. Ryan Olson, like I said a few minutes ago, is going to have a class on January the 11th, carving hunks and hotties. Janet Cordell has a class carving a raccoon with a leaf. That's going to be on January 6th. Dale Green, who is also in with us today, is going to be having a class February the 1st on carving shorties. And Dave Stetson's going to have a class on March the 1st, carving a cowboy with a bottle. If you want to participate in any of these classes, reach out to the instructor, ask them how to get signed up. They'll get your money from you. They'll tell you what supplies you need, and they'll get you ready for that class. So reach out to them. You can find out all the information out on Woodcarving Academy. Look at the upcoming classes that's listed there, and it'll give you all the information. And again, reach out to the instructors about those. Before we get started with Chris, I want to tell you a little bit about an auction we're doing today. We're going to do another live auction and meeting. Same format as always. We're going to put bids in the chat. High bid at the end of the meeting will win. The things that have been donated come directly from Chris Brickle's personal collection. He wanted to make this donation to assist IAWC in these meetings. All proceeds will go to continue to pay our Zoom subscription to be able to have these meetings ongoing. So I'll start off with a Bob Hershey Signature Series knife donated by Chris. This is a Helvey Signature Series knife. There you go, if you can see that. We also have a sheath that Chris made himself. It's got a little belt loop on the back. The knife fits in that nicely, so you can carry that with you if you'd like. And then Chris has also donated one of his Santas. It's got his information there on the back. And this will all be one lot. So you're bidding on all three items, the Santa, the sheath, and the knife. And all proceeds will go to the IAWC. So if you'll go ahead and start bidding on that in the chat, high bid will win at the end. Good opportunity to get a Helvey, good opportunity to get a carving from Chris. Before we turn it over to Chris, I want to go ahead and turn it over to Dave Stetson, who's on with us today. He's going to give us our words of wisdom of the day.
Hey, thanks, Blake. Today's word comes from, I was inspired by something I read this morning. Gene Messer on Facebook has a Let's Talk Carving. And one of the questions he proposed was, how many of you have ever experienced what was often called carving block? A time when you just put your carving aside for a while because you were either tired or the ideas just weren't coming to you. And for how long? I'm going to share with you that it was a quote from from one of the Renaissance artists. And it was also a quote that was repeated by Albert Einstein. They said, they were talking about inspiration. You don't wait for inspiration. Inspiration finds you when you're working. So if you're looking for something, you know, you don't feel you're being creative, you don't feel that things are coming to you, go out there, grab a knife and a piece of wood, start working. And then inspiration will find you.
All right, Dave. Thank you for that. That's definitely a good word of wisdom today, and we all need to hear that. So thank you for sharing that with us today. In our meeting today, Chris Brickle is going to be coming on presenting for us. If none of you have heard his story, it's fascinating, all the things that he has experienced that got him to this point. I'm not going to steal any of his thunder as far as the stuff he's going to share, but I want hope that we present this to motivate people, to motivate you, to motivate somebody out there who maybe think that they can't do it, and help them pick up a piece of wood and get started. So, Chris, I just want to say thanks for coming on today. I look forward to what you have to share, and I think it'll touch quite a few people. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
I appreciate it, Dave. It's an honor to be sitting in front of you all. And to be honest, this is all from God's grace. My story in a nutshell can be summed up in 3 sentences. My story proves that the devil is a liar, the enemy is a liar, right? And it proves how real God's grace and his love can be. And my story is a little different because I'm very passionate about the topic that I'm going to share. And the topic that I'm going to share is overcoming adversity, overcoming anything that you struggle with, whether it's addiction, whatever it is. We all have a story. Doesn't matter. We all start at the same spot. And I'm not afraid to tell my story, and I'm going to go into it a little. But in the past, I've gone too deep into my story, right? And you walk away saying, man, that guy just talked all about what the enemy did to him, but he didn't talk about the hope side, right? So we're going to focus on the hope side, because the community that's in front of me right now is an amazing community. And it's all about hope and encouraging people. And Mr. Stetson, your last 4 words of wisdom is God uses you to talk to people, right? And how powerful it can be just to give someone a little bit of encouragement, right? So if you look over my shoulder, you'll see a man there. That's my father. My father is one of the best woodworkers growing up, the best wood carvers that I ever saw. He did beautiful bird carvings. He went to the Ward Foundation in Maryland every year and competed. Amazing. But as a little boy, I always looked at him, well, I can't do that, right? He's special. So what causes that, right? Everybody has the ability, everybody has the gift, and no one can take it from you. The enemy can't take that from you, but what he can do is take your confidence. Oh, I don't sound good enough to be on a podcast. I'll never be able to do that. I don't like the way that my voice sounds, right? Oh, I don't look good enough. I should have shaved this big beard, right? All those things that the enemy tries to do, and it's all bullshit. To use a little harsh language, I don't like to curse a lot, but I do get amped up when I talk about my story. So I'm gonna try and navigate through this story and keep it to carving. You know, Dave said a few weeks back that you don't have to be good to start. Just start, right? Jim Feather in the past, I remember watching one time and he broke the little head as he was doing it, right? But he never gave up on that piece of wood. And it didn't matter how messed up it was, he never lost a beat, right? And that's what we're about. We're never too far gone. You're never too far gone. And I'm going to tell you how far gone I was. And I'm not afraid to tell it. And you're going to hear it. So I grew up in a great family, right? I have a twin brother. I have two other brothers, a sister, beautiful parents, right? But there's always that lack of, I want to call it, you're looking for your passion, right? And I never could be still. I could never find that joy. I'm always searching for something, that instant gratification, if you will, right? So smoking cigarettes, I'm drinking, I'm this, I'm that, right? All my life I was in carpentry. So my background is in carpentry, molding, cabinetry, furniture making. That's what I did with my dad. But when it came to carving, well, I can't do that. Dad's just special, right? And I never really pursued it. Well, Dad's gone now, right? And we'll get to this part. So every job that I ever had was something to do with woodworking. I built Rybovich boats in Florida, got to be on a team and did Alan Jackson's boat, like all these, good things, right? I got married and had 3 beautiful boys, all little blondies, right? Things should be good, right? But I'm always searching for something. I could be sitting on a beach, right? Have a job, have 3 beautiful boys, have the beautiful wife, but I couldn't be still. Why is that? I couldn't be still, right? And I would say, I got to go. And I'm looking for something. So I went down a road that took me away from my family for 12 years. Assumed dead, that no one knew where I was. Nobody. I had no digital record, no phone, no nothing. Now, I don't have to tell you guys the whole story. It's like a carving. Dave puts in little cuts, and we put in little cuts and shadows, and it tells a story. You guys will fill in the blanks from what I'm saying. I won't get too detailed with it, but I will tell you what happened. So basically, I left my wife and 3 kids and my family, and I was lost, right? For 12 years lost. And it starts out gradually. The enemy comes at you gradually. Well, you're hurt. You deserve to take pain pills and this and that, right? He works on you. Well, I took it as far as you can imagine. The whole thing. The books that you read, I did it all, right? I went to jails, to homeless, to you name it. And I was missing for 12 years. My father, my idol, died when I was out there. Now, it's not the substance that keeps people from doing what they need to do and finding their passion, and whether it's carving, whatever it is, it's not the substance that's the problem. It's the dealing with things and how the enemy works, right? So 12 years, you can imagine. I told you that I had 3 boys, beautiful boys. They were 6, 8, and 10 when I left. My brother, my oldest brother, some of you have met him, some of you have seen him. he's done some things where he should have been able to find me, right? He has people that could find me. He said, I can't find him. He's either dead or he's damn good at hiding. Okay. My brother is ex-special forces, federal agent, 3-letter agencies, the whole thing, right? Well, I never knew that my father, before he passed away, said to Darren, my brother that I'm speaking of, I need you to find Christopher and help him. That was like his dying words to my brother. Long story short, everybody, and I'm sure a lot of you know someone or have a family member or have friends of a friend. It's a huge thing in the world, right? People say, oh, he's got to find his bottom, right? And Darren would, my brother, my family would say, well, it doesn't matter if we find him. If he doesn't want help for himself, it's not going to work, right? The person has to want it. They got to find their own bottom. And that's very true. And I want to say this. I had so many bottoms, you wouldn't imagine. Because I'm a carpenter, right? So I can dig a hole through here and build a tunnel. We can go deeper, guys. Come on, let's go deeper. Deeper, deeper, deeper. Well, I died 3 times, literally died, and was brought back to life. Narcaned, the whole thing that you can imagine. And I finally was broken enough to accept help and in my mind say, I want this, right? And I started to get myself better and better and better. Fast forward, I come back to my family, big reunion with the kids. There's a 12-year gap. You can imagine all of that in your minds, right? And this will be on a talk to anybody that wants to reach out about that stuff more. No problem. This is about carving, and we're bringing it back to carving. It's my journey on how I got to this point. So basically, I do 4 years of long-term stuff. I get my head back, because you can imagine being lost for 12 years, basically homeless for 12 years, what that can do to someone's mind, and taking the substance that I was taking. So God's grace gave me back my mind. My brothers and my sisters and everybody says, we don't ever remember half the stuff that he remembers. He remembers everything from his childhood. I got everything back, right? Through God's grace. So my brother said, I want you to move to Tennessee and be with me, start your whole life over, right? You have your boys. And that's the thing too. People, I used to say, oh, I lost everything. I lost my job. I lost my kids. I lost my business. I lost this. I lost that, right? And it's laughable now because I didn't lose anything. I was the only thing that was lost. My kids were fine. They were with my ex-wife. She's beautiful. She took care of them like an amazing woman, right? The kids were fine. Dad gave me a skill that I could always work again, right? All I needed to do is take the piece of wood and keep going and make something nice out of it. Don't give up just because the hat brim broke off. Make something else, right? So I moved here, and I was right away working again for someone in woodworking, and life's getting a little better. Money's coming in, right? Family's there now. But the enemy's never going to stop coming, right? And you start to think, oh, well, what if I should have, or I could have, right? You can't judge yesterday's decisions with today's wisdom, right? Because you now have the lesson. You've given the lesson. God gave you the grace. And so many times you say, oh, well, I'm making money now, I'm good now. Oh, I can do this again. No, you have new wisdom, you have a new family that's given to you, because God puts people in your lives now that are encouragers. They're people that can hold you accountable, help you, right? So I moved here, I'm doing good. My family even said, let's really help you out, and we'll help you get dental work and really get your life in order. You look great, you're doing great, right? Well, one day, coming from the dentist here in Tennessee on I-40, I get creamed at night from behind in a horrific car crash. Life flight just happened to be overhead and got to me in 6 minutes. I had 7 burst fractures. This arm is completely titanium. 2 burst lungs, collapsed lungs. They had to do neurothorax on the scene. 8 broken ribs, sternum, scalped like an Indian, both hands broke. You name it, in a coma. Again, God's grace, I made it through that. They said that I would never use this hand again. Both bones are titanium. See this hand? I'd never use that hand again. They said I'd never walk again. I walk just fine. Right? So now I can't do everything I used to do. I can't climb up roofs and put crown molding up and climb ladders and up and down. I'm a little restricted, but from the day I opened my eyes from the coma, and my brother has it on film, I didn't say, oh, poor me, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. I said, God has me. Don't worry. And he said, you believe this? He's all banged up, and he's still praising God, and everything's telling us not to worry, right? But if you think about it, look what he's given me. So I found carving right before that wreck. I found a little Christmas tree by, I hope I get the name right, it was Green, right? Green did the first little Christmas tree with the face on it. And I did one with this knife right here. Right? And I just loved it. Did this little tree. Look at this. Look what I did, right? And then the accident happened. But look what came from the accident, if you think about it. I'm able to sit here and carve. There's not too many people that have the time that I've been given to focus on something that I really love, I'm really passionate about, right? My family, I have everything that I could ever need. I don't have anything, hasn't come from the car yet or any of that. I don't even have a truck yet. But I have my family back. I have love, and I'm able now that I have this new found family and this love for carving. So now I have a mission, and that mission is to encourage others, to help others. And it doesn't have to be this weird thing where I say, hey, let me tell you about Jesus Christ or whatever. It can be, hey, let me hold the door for you. How you doing today? Right? Something small as that. I meet so many fabulous people at these shows and watch these videos, these live Zooms, go in person to the Renegade that we're fortunate enough to have here in Tennessee. Steve Brown does an awesome job. Met so many wonderful people. Dwayne, all the instructors, Mark Daniels, Bruce Anthony, Wayne Larimore. The list goes on and on and on. And I want to preface this too by, I mean everyone. And that's the thing with that I get from the carving community too. You do it heartless. You don't need recognition, right? Blake has been there with me from day one. I used to text him when I didn't even have a single tool. Hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? Right? How do you do this cut? And he always found the time to answer me. And I found that with everybody in this community. Amazing people, amazing giving people. I'm not on this podcast because I'm some amazing carver. I'm on this podcast, I believe, because of how God gave me this ability back, and because I do things out of love. I'm still just a complete beginner in carving, right? But I love it. I love the people. The things that have happened. Holly and Rich, amazing people from Helby, asked me to do these little carvings, and they did a knife about it. Not because I'm some amazing carver. They saw, hey, you're really inspirational. I said, me? Right? Because that's the enemy. Why are they asking you? Right? That's how the enemy works. The key is to surround ourselves with great people. And I'm looking at a bunch of awesome people who can hold you accountable, show you encouragement, show you love. I can't say enough about the people I've met, things I've heard. I could go on with my testimony, my story. And I know a lot of you don't maybe want to hear that, and I'd love to show you some of my carving stuff, and I'd actually want to do a little painting demonstration. Two, I think it's 2:30 now. You know, people have, God puts people in your life, and it's just unbelievable. And I want to give you some tips that I've learned for carving. We'll switch gears towards carving. So, one, we're in a technology age where we can, Blake has said it in the past, learn from the best, right? I can take a Zoom from Dave Stetson, from Dwayne, take advantage of all these things, the Zoom classes, the Academy. Academy is amazing. I've even bought gifts for people from the Academy. I don't have money to give, but I think by doing that, you're encouraging someone else, and God blesses you at the same time when you do that. I truly believe that. Dwayne actually had a great tip, Dwayne Gosnell. So I would always struggle at first watching these videos. Oh, what was that cut? What did he do? How did he do that? And I think it's almost like our lives, we're looking at it this close, right? We can't see the whole carving, right? We don't see God's whole plan. We're just looking at this one little cut. Well, I don't understand, right? And you're trying to figure it out. And Dwayne said to me, block doubt out of your head and write things down, right? And I thought about that. So when I'm watching a video, you're distracted, you're doing things, you're hearing it, right? But if you write it down, now it's like a child learning. So you're watching someone carve, you're listening to that person, you're writing it down in a book, right? And then you're doing it yourself. And I'm telling you, it helped me a great deal to fast forward my learning. I truly think it has. And I'll be definitely going back to the Renegade, and I keep a book, each instructor, I write it down. And you'll even get great little things like this, like Gary Fallon, 2 sugar plum, right? It's not a teaching thing, but it's an amazing thing. You'll look back and it'll make you warm in your heart, and wow, someone you looked up to and wrote that in your book. It's amazing. So that has helped me a great deal, and I think taking a little tidbit from each instructor, because everybody teaches different. When I heard actually Mr. Stetson first, I said, I wish that they had this in English. And my brother said, he is talking English. And I said, oh, you're right. I'm only kidding, Dave, and I love you very much. But my point is, everyone instructs different, and you can learn. My dad used to always say, you can learn from the guy sweeping the floor, right? And you take what you want, you take what helps you, and you all of a sudden you start to become your own, right? And it's like, oh, the training wheels are off. Hey, all of a sudden you're just carving. You're not even really thinking. And at the end you say, wow, look what I did, right? I actually have my first carving. I'm gonna grab it and I'll show you, and we'll see. All right. So there's the first carving with the razor knife. And the date on the back says 11/7/2022. So that was about a month before the wreck, right? And then this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do the little painting demonstration on today. Now, normally, us good old boys here in Tennessee, we wouldn't do a North Carolina wolf pack, right? But there's a big reason for that. And I think a lot of you know that reason. This community comes together and we support each other. There's been a huge hurricane. A lot of people were affected. A lot of people don't have even close to things that some of us have. Ryan Newsom and Ashton, help me out, Dave, with the last name.
Ashton Brown.
Ashton Brown from Badger State Blaze. They run a little thing that they're doing, Carvers for a Cause, that Jonathan Creason actually started. A lot of men have and women have gotten on board with. And I noticed Ryan has this shirt on, and I believe his wife too went to the same school. So I decided to do that for him, and maybe I'll send that to him when we're done painting it. But it's a great cause, and I really like it. I also wanted to say a shout out to Bob Hershey. So the reason that I sent that knife wasn't because I don't like that knife. I love that knife. And Bob has been an encourager to me. He's a great man, as a lot of the instructors are, all of them are. And I have plenty of Bob's knives, and I know where to get another one. And I thought that it would be nice for someone to have a chance to get their hands on a Helvey and support the international. So that's the reason that Bob knife was sent. You want to switch gears? I'll do a little tour of the shop, and then we can set up for paint.
Yeah, that'll be good, Chris. Let's do that.
All right. Go. So I'm gonna pan you guys around the shop. And you guys can ask.
We may have lost his internet connection when he moved. There it is.
Good? Still got me?
Yeah, your internet's a little choppy now once you got up, so I'm not sure if you're just moving away from the signal.
How's that? You
That's
back?
better. Yeah.
All right, so that was the shop. We have heat out here. Anybody that is interested in getting heat for an outdoor shop, this is a diesel heater. Works great. It's right now it's 70 degrees in here and it's 37 outside. So it's a great thing. All right. So I'm gonna try and move to the little set and ready. See how we do this. How's that view?
That'll be good. You'll just have to hold it up there in front of it as you're painting it.
Yeah. All right. All right. So some people have asked about how I do the little details on the painting. You there, Dave?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So if you see that little logo, right? Here's what I do. And I do this with any of the logos. I keep all these printouts, different logos, whatever the logo is. So this is North Carolina, right? Take this, put it on, and trace with a pencil, and it transfers to that, right? This right here is Milwaukee Ultrafine. It can't be the normal fine tip that I used to carry in my carpenter bag. It's got to be the ultra fine for some reason. And these are great for even when you're marking, it doesn't go deep into the wood, right? So after you get that on there, then you dip it in your 209 or whatever you guys use, BLO is fine. And that now gets locked in. So it's sealed in there. And you're done. When that dries and is ready for paint, you now have a starting point that looks good, right? And the other thing is, people used to kid me on a couple and said, "Oh, you spelled whatever wrong." And I would say, "No, I didn't, because the way that I do it, you can't make that mistake because of the way you're doing it, because you're actually doing it directly from the actual logo, right?" All right. These are the paints I use, different ones, folk art, ceramic, all these things. Keep it down. Amazon.
What colors are you pulling out there, Chris?
All right, so I got 3 colors that I always use for the base, and they are tawny medium terracotta and lipstick red. And then these are going to be my beard, 3 whites, white, snow white, titanium white, gray, medium gray underbase, black. And then we just have to figure out what we're going to do on the logo.
Did we lose his audio, Dave?
He's muted right now.
There we go. We're good. You got me?
Yeah, we got you. We can see you talking, but couldn't hear what you're saying.
And I'm getting better with the technical stuff. Remember, I went 12 years without these phones.
Yeah, it's always a challenge.
Sometimes I wish I didn't have it. I've been fortunate enough to take classes from Richard Holden on painting and carving, but on painting. A lot of different paint techniques. Pat Coffey has an awesome video on the International. I've reached out to him a million times, picking his mind, especially when I found out he was a life flight pilot. I have a special place in my heart for that man, for sure. No, sometimes we go through things, we all have stories. But in the end, you can become the man that God intended you to be the father for the boys that I want to be, and been quite the ride, but it's amazing.
So we can't see your palette there. Are you just getting all your paints out there on?
Yeah, and I'll get a better spot.
What are you going to use to mix them up on? Are you
I got a piece of glass that I use.
gotcha?
I've used the palette paper that Pat Coffey has talked about in the past. I go back and forth, but I really like the glass. You can just clean it when you're done and let it dry overnight, clean it the next day. You can see the how transparent you want it. I seem to like this way better. Let's see if I can get a spot here. Oh, boy. Yes. So I use Minmax 209. I don't like the BLO only because of the fire hazard in the shop, for me anyway. This is what I use when I'm done as a sealer. And then I use a tinted version of this. So in that wax, I'll put this little pea-sized drop. And then I keep it ready to go, tinted the way that I want it. For this particular one anyway, I've done pretty much every one you guys have put out there. Try them all, see what I like. Ruin a couple things. So when I paint, I noticed a couple things. Bruce Ankney actually had soft music playing and a mood, and I think it actually really does help. So I'll have different music when I paint than when I'm carving, usually relaxing music. I keep on my leg because I'll show you a couple things that I've noticed. So when I paint watered down, but I also have noticed there's sometimes where you have to offload the brush in between things. Offload, make different as you're doing it, actually, like in real time. So on this little guy, I'll do the eyes first. Anybody that asks about eyes, I use these. They're I believe they're 2.5 times. They have a light on them. You can charge them. Anybody have any questions or anything?
Can you hold it up to the camera, Chris, so we can see what you're doing there?
I'm doing that, the eyes right now.
Okay.
I'll hold it up kind of each phase as I. All right, there's the eyes. Well, now we're gonna do the skin colors. And you can see it's almost no color. It looks like there's no color, but it's there. I use a little bit of both. And I've had luck with cheaper brushes that last a long time. I do have a couple Bob Hershey, Princeton, high dollar ones. He recommended them. I also have these are artist brush for people that do women's nails. They come real thin. They're from Amazon. It's a Chinese company and they've been awesome. They hold up great, real small. Great for detail and stuff. All right, so there's the first wash on the face, skin tone. After that, I go into the terracotta, almost like a little. If you were in Arizona and you had a tan or something, I'll put it in the different spots that I want it in. So when I said offloading the brush, if I go into this watered paint and I come up, it's a sloppy mess. And if I go onto the face, it's going to be too much. So I'll dip it in there and then I'll come down here where that rag is, blot some off, and then go to the carve.
Hey, Chris, when we talked the other day, you said something about you try to carve one a day. Is that right? At least one?
Yeah, I do. And that actually came about. So my brother, after the accident, I had a hard time getting myself up and motivated and hurting all the time and kept telling him, I want to carve, I want to carve. Just couldn't get myself motivated, right? So what he said was, you don't need motivation. You need discipline. And I just kind of looked at him. He said, think about it. If you're just working off your motivation to do something, no matter what it is, quit smoking, quit drinking, go out and carve, then what can knock you off your plan? Pretty much anything. It's too cold out. It's too hot out. Wife yelled at me. Dog threw up. Whatever the case, and you say, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next time, right? But if you have discipline, no matter how your back feels, no matter how cold it is, no matter what, every day, push yourself to at least get that one thing you want to get done with discipline. So he said, I'll tell you what, how about every day you send me a picture of one of the little heads when you're done. So he held me accountable, right? And at the end of a week, you look back and you say, wow, I got 7 little heads done, right? Or you look back and you say, well, I could have done this, right? And it's helped me immensely. And I try to post them online. And then I started to go to the different businesses around town, because I said I could put different emblems on a Santa Claus or make it like a grumpy old looking guy and different logos on them. So I said, what if I did the businesses around town? And then I just show up at their place and I say, hey, I got a gift for you. Right. And it blesses their day. They get a smile out of it. And then a lot of them, we take a picture, we put it online, and it's kind of advertising their business and me as well. I actually don't even have an income right now. We're waiting on a lot of outcomes. God has it. But what happened was, out of this whole thing, I started the little Etsy store almost out of, well, I have to do something. Maybe I could try something, right? And again, you start off like, well, my stuff's not good enough to do anything, right? So the she's that you mentioned in the beginning, if you look on the she's, you're going to see a cross and it says Jerry Kinnison, right? That's not me that makes them. And the way this came about, Jerry is a good friend of my brother's. He's 2 tours in Vietnam, amazing man. And he's a retired lineman, electrician. He was zapped by 7,000 volts. He shouldn't even be alive. And when that happened, he heard a voice that said, you have to go back. You have work to do. You have to be there for your granddaughter. Well, when he did make it through and came out of it, he remembered what he had heard, but he didn't have a granddaughter. Well, his daughter walked in the hospital and said, oh my God, Dad, are you okay? And you're not going to believe it, but I'm pregnant. And there's the granddaughter. So anyway, when my wreck happened, Jerry came to the hospital, and I didn't really know him at the time, other than he's my brother's friend and helps out at my brother's gun range. If y'all are ever in Crossville, definitely check out Marksman Range. Go to Bucky's. We got Bucky's here in Crossville. But he came to the hospital and he said, hey, bud, you got work to do. And I remember looking over at him and he told me his story. He makes cowboy action holsters. Beautiful. Beautiful rigs that he makes, all stitched. And when I started to get better, I said to him, hey, you should make me a sheath for my carving knife. Right? And he made a sheath for me. And I said, wow, these are nice. He said, I made them with the rivets only because I'm retired and it's quicker for me. He can stitch them, but I said, I like the rivets. They're cool. I like that. And I said to my brother, without even telling him, I bet if I put these on Etsy, they'd sell. Well, they started selling, and he keeps kidding me. You guys are never going to let me retire. But he loves it. He loves helping people, and he's been a blessing to this family, and wonderful man. And I get choked up even talking about him. It's just amazing. And that's actually what I've actually been paying my bills on and trying to support myself. It's not a lot, but it's definitely helped out. So that's where the Etsy store came from. And then I put my little carvings on there and the shoes. All right, so there's the face. we'll go to the red, put a little red in there because he's Santa Claus. I'd like to get to more events when I do get back on the road. Definitely, Chris Hammock. I'd love to get to Mexico, and actually, Chris Hammock was the first thing that I did. I was still in the cage in the back brace, and my family helped me do the Zoom with him, and we actually did a dentist for the dentist because that's what happened with the car wreck. So we carved a little dentist together, but he was amazing too. And he told me his story and how he got into carving through getting hurt. And we had a wonderful time, and he encouraged me too. And then he found out that I worked on the boats, and I told him he should do a Zoom from a boat. But it's been amazing. Bob Thurston, the first Renegade that I went to. You guys still have comms? Dave, you still hear me?
Still got you, man. We can still hear you.
So, the first Renegade that I went to, I was still in the back brace. I still have a lot of work to get done on my back, issues, nerve pain, and going to have to probably get a fusion in the future, we think. But sometimes people say things and they don't even realize how much they encourage you just by talking to you. Bob Thurston and his wife, they didn't know my story. Nobody knew my story other than I was in a car wreck, right? So he told me, basically, don't let things take you down. If you like carving, put your mind to it. You can do anything. And, he told me a lot of things of his life, and it just really hit home with me, and amazing. Dwayne Gosnell, we did a little soldier together, and my son was in Syria in the army, and I said, I want to do this for my son. And well, when you take Dwayne's little Zoom classes, his wife holds a little, like a raffle, and whoever wins that raffle gets his finished carving. Dwayne says it didn't happen. It didn't happen on purpose. It wasn't rigged, he tells me, and I believe him. But I won that carving, and I was able to finish mine and finish his and put the little blue ribbon on it and present that to my son, send that to my son. And right before he had gone to Syria. And it's just amazing because this Renegade, Dwayne stepped in again because Kevin Applegate was sick. And I'll definitely meet up with Kevin one time somewhere. But Dwayne, again, did a wonderful job. And my son made it back home from Syria, which he wasn't even supposed to be back for Christmas, but thank God he made it home. And yeah, we had a great time. I met so many amazing people at that Renegade, Wayne and Chet Blay. So Chet Blay came to this house after the first Renegade. And this goes to show how amazing the community of woodcarvers is. We didn't know each other at all. And I looked over at him and he's carving. He sat across from me at the Renegade, the first Renegade. And I remember thinking to myself, man, that guy makes it look like effortless. I'd like to carve like that. He looked like he was playing the violin. And I even said, hey, how do you do it so like that? And I said, I'm working on the ball cap on the top and it's all end grain and it's real hard. Well, I guess he saw himself, well, this kid needs some help. He needs some encouragement. And he came over and he showed me. And actually, we laughed and he said, you said I looked like I was playing the violin? I said, yeah, he looked real relaxed playing. So he showed me some things and we ended up striking up a friendship and a conversation there, him, his wife, and so many people there. Wayne Nickoloff sat next to me, and that was God ordained, because when I had asked, hey, anybody have any advice going to my first Renegade, he's the one that reached out to give me all the advice. Bring a cushion, bring this, bring that. And it turned out that they sat me next to him. And I don't believe in coincidence. Another great friend. Everybody there is amazing. Everyone. There's amazing. Everyone you meet in the carving community. All right, so there's the face. We'll put in the eyeballs and we'll go to the hat, and then we're almost done. Well, let's do the beard real quick. So now the beard, I do 3 colors, 3 white and a gray. So that's 4 colors total. The first one's going to be the gray. So Chet reached out to me after that first Renegade and said, hey, I'd love to come out to your house. I'm retired. Maybe help you out and show you some things, carving. Maybe we could carve like an ornament together or something. Well, I told you about my brother. My brother's a little standoffish, you know what I mean? You know, more protector mode. He's not going to let anybody come in to his little brother who's been through it. So he wanted to make sure who this is coming out to the property, right? Well, when he left, he came here. We were in the laundry room. We carved a little ornament together. Carved that little guy together. And he wrote on the back, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Chet Blay. But my point is, for somebody that barely knows you, to say, hey, all right, there's the first gray. Now we're going to white. To say, hey, I'm going to come out over a 2-hour drive and sit with you and show you some things. I was still in the back place then, and we just had a great time. He gave me every wood carving illustrated almost from day one. Here you go. I want you to have this. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So then he said he wanted to come another time, come back. And he's going to bring a friend with him. Well, of course, Darren didn't want to hear that. My brother didn't want to hear that. What do you mean a friend? Who's the friend? I said, they're all good people. Don't worry. There's the first white. Well, he didn't tell me really who was coming. So some of you, I'm sure most of you know, Tony Harris came to the house. And he's on the cover of the Woodcarving Illustrated. He gave me that copy over there signed, and he said, "Oh, I'll show you how to do the Santa." I said, "Oh, that'd be great." Well, we started talking, and it turned out that I end up sharing my entire testimony with him, Chet and him, and we don't carve at all. It was almost 3 hours they were here. But when they went to leave, he said, "You know, I thought I was coming out here to show you some things on carving, but you blessed us with your story," right? And at first I thought, what do you mean? But I do understand what they mean. And that's what I'm getting at. This isn't all about carving and being, oh, how can I be a good carver? How can I do this? It's about encouraging others and helping others. And it's really amazing. All right, there's 2 whites. We're going to do the 3rd white, do the hat. Bart Wilson and Blake were probably the first 2 that I was really reaching out to on messages. How do you do this? So I saw Bart when he was on Fun Day Sunday. I said, "Look at this guy. He's funny. I like him." Right? The way that he joked around and everything. I really liked watching him. And I would message him, "Hey, what was that tool that you were using?" And he said the number 9 was his favorite tool. So I had to buy number 9, a file. It's got to be the same brand and everything. So I bought it, I ordered, I messaged him. The next day that he came on, the next week, he says, "I'm going to try a different brand, number 9, just to try it." I believe it was a OCCT. And here's the 3rd white. We're going to go to the red hat. So I'm going to do red because it's the Santa, and the red will look good with North Carolina because I did my research, and North Carolina looks like North Carolina has a red hat, and he's black and white with a red tongue. So if I do the Santa Claus red hat around it, do the red hat, then I just have to layer the white, maybe add a little black, red tongue, maybe dry brush the beard, and he'll be done. I've been doing the eyes black, and I got that from when I went to the first Renegade with Roger Stegall. He told me that he likes doing the black, just the black. And I actually like the look of it, of just the black and adding the white reflection marks, the highlights. So Bart used this other number 9. So of course I sent him a message after, and I was only kidding. He knew I was kidding. He kind of knew picked up on my way that I would kid around and stuff. I said, "You know, I just spent all this money on that file because you said it was the one to use. You had to be that brand. It was your favorite. And here you are using the OCCT." And he sent me back a thing laughing. We went back and forth. And a lot of people have encouraged me and been there from the little journey that I have, which isn't a big journey. And I'm just like everybody else. We all start somewhere, but the key is we can help each other, show each other stuff, encourage people. All right, so we're gonna do the red around the North Carolina guy. So I take a small brush and I border them, and then I'll take the bigger brush and come around them, let that sit a minute, and then we'll do the next layer in color.
Hey, Chris, while you're painting that, the logo of you on the back that you put on all your carvings, do you hand draw that also?
No, that actually is a company that you send them any picture and they make a stamp for you. It's called Riley Print. And you can refill this thing and it's very reasonable. And then you just, right? And it puts that on the back.
Nice.
The other thing is that name. So that name came from this. That name is not me saying that I'm a master at all. It's the master up above, but it's also my father's business card was Yield Cabinet Maker Shop. And his catchphrase was, "You don't pay for quality, you invest in it. A touch of the master's hand," in quotes. So when I came back and was rescued from where I was, I thought to myself, oh, that'd be a great business name, his catchphrase. And it's like his hand or his hand of mine. And that's where that name came from.
And somebody asked in the chat, what was the name of the company again that made the stamp?
Riley Print. Riley, Riley. No, another shout out to someone that I didn't even know. When I got in the accident, someone mailed a letter here to the house addressed to me, and there was a check in there too. And it's someone I didn't even know, right? But that, again, that's how the carving world is. And we struck up a friendship and we talk online all the time. And it's really amazing. The other thing is you feel like you've known these people forever, right? And I believe God, when you know you're on the right track, that's the feeling you get, right? You feel comfortable and he lets you know you're on the right path, that's for sure.
Hey, Chris, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
This is Paula from Renegade. How are you?
Hey, Paula, very good.
Now on the beard, will you do a dry brush technique at all on the edges of that, or?
Yes, I will. We're gonna
Okay, I'm just your straight man.
remind me to hit mute so I don't blast everybody out with the hair dryer.
Okay.
Another question, they want to know how many Renegades you've been to, Chris? Just a couple?
This last October was my second.
And when you're carving these ornaments, do you carve one then paint it? Or do you carve all 7 and then come back and paint all 7? Or do you just mix it up?
It depends, but I have been trying to paint them each day, kind of like a personal goal type of thing. And then I'm sure you noticed I post them after I'm done. But it depends on what's going on. But I do try to usually paint what I did that day. If that makes sense.
After your accident, have you had any trouble sitting for long periods of time to carve, or is it better to do that?
Yeah, it's pretty bad at night. I get real bad nerve issues, and my left side will really really get bad, and I have to make sure I get up and stretch. This chair has helped a lot, and definitely recommend having a good chair, good place to sit.
Hey, Chris, this is Ed from Michigan.
Hey, bud,
I said, this is Ed from Michigan. How you doing?
how's it going?
Good. I've been hit by a train head on and by a car doing 90 miles an hour.
Wow.
And acupuncture helps me a lot. Have you ever tried that?
I haven't tried that. I'll definitely look in that. I've just found something called fascia massage, something a little different, but I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, look into acupuncture. It really helps me a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're doing good.
Yep, I
Thank you
do.
for that name.
Yeah, I do the best I can every day. I do a lot of stretching and, just like you,
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
The key is
Got it.
just to do it.
Key is this.
Yeah, the key is the discipline, just to do it every day.
That's it.
So,
That's it.
try that acupuncture, brother. God bless you.
I will. God bless you.
All right.
All right. I'm gonna hit the mute real quick because I'm gonna use the dryer, and I don't want to blast you guys out.
That'll work.
And then we'll do the dry brushing and we're done.
So just a reminder again, next week we won't have a meeting. We'll have Jim Feather in on December the 14th, Jim Heiser on December the 21st, and Ryan Olson on December the 28th. That'll carry us through the end of the year, and I'll be working on trying to get new presenters lined up starting in January. In just a few more minutes on the auction. Again, it's for the Bob Hershey knife, the sheath, and the carving from Chris. All these are from his personal collection, and all the proceeds go to benefit IAWC. Just put your bids in the chat, and we'll call that here in just a few minutes. You back with us?
Back with you.
All right.
So at the same time that I dry the carving a little, I dry the two brushes that I want to use for dry brush. At the same time, I kind of hit the carving, and I'll have the two brushes I want to dry brush with here, and I'll dry those brushes, make sure they're completely dry. Right? So I'll do white.
And are you just dry brushing the beard, or are you doing the hat also?
I'm actually do the entire carving dry brush, and then I'll come back with the smaller brush and add a little more dry brush to the mustache and maybe the brim of the hat, different areas. But I like to dry brush the red is color too. You can see, I don't know if that shows up. The facets are turning white. It's hard to see over the camera, I'm sure. I'll do that, and then I'll take the smaller one and do the eyebrows, maybe this some more, just add where I want. And then the last thing that I do is focus on the logo. So I'll add more white, kind of border things, make it pop out till it looks good. And then I just spray it and we're done. Now, I want to say this too, and people have all different opinions. I've seen a million videos, read the books. I seal the carving before I do the wax. And then I've heard people that they just do the wax. So there's all different ways. Just try them. You'll find things that you like, things you don't like. I think it helps to have like a, you'll come up with a process, almost like an order that makes more sense to you, especially with the painting part. So the glasses that I have on, I like to use the most. I do have a pair of the ones you'll see like Marvin Daniels will wear when he's doing jewelry. He wore that at the Renegade. It's an opti-visor. I believe Bob Hershey wears one as well. But I don't like to wear them, especially unless I'm focused on doing that, because it messes with my vision a little. So I like to have a set time where I'm going to put that on. but I would definitely recommend the ones I'm wearing.
And Chris, we're coming up on 4:30, so I'm just going to announce one more time. If you want to bid on the auction, go ahead and put that in the chat. We'll be calling that here in just a few minutes.
No, you had Chucky on there a while back, and he talked about encouraging and finding a way to get to these shows and do different things, and that's what I mean. Everybody just kind of encourages everybody, and I think that's the key. I know you've always said you're trying to share the hobby and share the knowledge. It's a great hobby, that's for sure. All right, almost done. All right.
So now you'll spray it with the lacquer and then use the wax on it.
Yeah, he'll be hit with this, and then I hit him with the feed and wax is already dyed to the color I like it. He'll be done.
All right. Anybody have any other questions for Chris today?
What's in the Howard's feed and wax?
That is a oil paint from Windsor. It's a burn umber. Just gives it a little tint, a little color.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Chris, we appreciate you coming on. And again, your story is fascinating, and I know you didn't get into even part of it. But I want to say thank you, my friend, for your willingness to come in and share and talk about the struggles that you've been through and how you're overcoming those, and how wood carving comes into play with that. So just want to say thank you, and I'll continue to encourage you. You know, I know you've come a long way, but I know you got a long way to go. And hopefully wood carving will be part of that journey. So keep up the good work, and look forward to seeing the stuff that you produce in the coming years.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Go ahead and call the auction. And again, thank you, Chris, for the donations on the auction. Let's see, Bud Adams, if you'll stay in the meeting here at the end, we'll get your information. Just want to say thank you all for joining us today again. Wood carvers are the best people out there. I'm sorry, they are. And the hobby is the best hobby that's available. I'll just say that. I'll probably get all kinds of flack on YouTube once I get this posted out there, but you can't find a better group of people that's willing to share, willing to encourage, willing to show, willing to teach the way wood carvers do. And that's the reason why I do this. That's the reason why Dave and I come on every week and do these presentations. It's really no benefit to us. It's really more just to share it with the community and put something out there that we're proud of and that other people can learn from. So just want to say thanks again for coming in. We won't be meeting next Saturday. We'll see you all again on the 14th with Jim Feather. As you know, Jim always does a great meeting, and he'll do a great presentation. So we look forward to that. Again, thank you for joining us. This has been the International Association of Wood Carvers. Thanks, Chris.
Blake's computer.
Right.
What's that?
I said, how long it take after we get done with the meeting for it to drop down to your computer?
Oh, I'm going to be around today, so it won't. Even if it takes a little while, I'll be able to get it over to you after it's done.
That works.
I've got 18 cutouts to do to get ready for my class next weekend. So
Yeah, you're not doing your rough outs?
I'm taking my rough outs, but I'm also taking a full Santa to do and a cutout. I don't know if people will enjoy doing a cutout class, but we're going to try it.
You enjoyed doing that cowboy class. It was a cutout class, so.
Right. So we'll see how it goes.
Oh, good.
When I get mobile, I definitely want to come to that barn. I wish I could, but it's coming. Yeah, I'll definitely send you the link on this. It's really good. And the economy of the fuel, 1 gallon, I'm in here 12 hours a day for 4 days and they're still running.
What do you run it off of? Propane or
diesel?
Off diesel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't get any fumes or anything off of it?
It gets vented outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to figure that out.
Maybe I can move you guys for a second. Oh, no.
Now you're upside down. I'm trying.
That's what happened in his truck wreck right there. He's reenacting it for us.
See it?
Yeah, that's cool.
And it actually has a digital screen and everything.
So where do you vent it to? Is there a window, or you cut a vent in the wall, or what?
You see
I
that?
see it. Yeah, I see it there.
Yep. It's actually like a muffler on it.
Nice.
Vehicle. And then it's got 2 fresh air intakes. It's got a digital screen. Let me take you out of here for a second. We'll get set up before the thing.
Yeah.
All right. You see the screen?
Yep.
And then there's a remote.
Cool.
You can go up or down, set the it's in Celsius, so 22 degrees is about 71 degrees Fahrenheit.
Nice.
And there it is, 39 outside, 73 inside.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, need these close. Now we gotta hope that I remember how to set this up again.
Well, that's good right now.
No, I'm good.
Dave Stetson, did you have words of wisdom today?
I do.
All right.
I was writing it down as we speak.
I'll talk about the auction and the upcoming meetings, and then I'll turn it over to you. I'll talk about let's see. I'll go ahead and do the upcoming meetings and the classes and the auction, and then turn it over to you. And that way they're hearing about the classes at the beginning. I may mention those again at the end as well.
All right.
I just like to get the information about the classes out there so that if people decide they're not watching the whole meeting, they'll at least hear that part of it.
Yeah. And you said Ryan was going to do the 28th?
Yep. Ryan Olson reached out, said he wanted to advertise his Hunks and Hotties class. And that was the date. It was either that or the first weekend in January. His class starts on January the 11th. So he picked the 28th. So we'll run through that Saturday. You gonna be around?
He doesn't show. We're gonna have Stetson do Hunks and Hotties.
We could.
We gotta help him with his names.
Every time I go to say that, I laugh at myself.
Hey, and let me tell you, I just got an email from Ryan about the class.
Literally, I just saw that.
Just popped up on my screen. Yeah, say Chris got it too then.
Did he say don't forget the Hunks and Hotties?
Handsome Hunks and Heartthrobs class. Not Hotties, Heartthrobs.
I'm not saying all that because who
Handsome
knows?
Hunks and Heartthrob.
in this Tennesseeese, it's hard to tell what will come out.
You can like repeat it like 20 times and get it down.
Nah,
Get the best effort.
I won't put anybody through that. That's
Oh
awesome.
man.
Hey, Dave Levy,
Sir.
do you want to go to Lancaster in March?
In March?
Yep.
What date? What are the dates?
It's the Bob Hershey contacted me this morning. It's the hold on, I'll tell you. I think it's the 15th and 16th.
You driving up there?
Yeah, it's only like 7 hours from here.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it would be for you.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That's a let's see. How long was that last time I went? It's been a number of years. Let's see.
You know where Pennsylvania is?
I was born there, yes.
Yeah, but do you remember things from that moment in your
That's
life?
right.
I remember from after when I went back about 20 times. That's about 6 hours and 30 minutes for me.
See, that's not bad.
It's not too bad at all.
That's a morning trip for you.
Oh, well, or I can go the 13-hour and 39-minute way.
No, you don't want to do that. That'd probably be coming through Bristol.
Has me going south to go. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I'd just pick you up, Blake, and we'll
You
just
could. You could just come get me. We'll make it a road trip.
come down there and then you just drive on up.
I told him that I would be there. I would check with you and see if you wanted to go. He wants us to broadcast live from out there that Saturday.
About 7 minutes until we'll let everybody in.
If it's like it is here, it's freezing cold outside. So I'm happy to be inside.
Yeah. I haven't even looked outside today. I probably need to.
I have my door open.
Do you really? What's it about 80 degrees there?
Right now it's 72, but it's going to get up to
Nice.
about 80.
That's nice. Perfect weather.
It is.
Man.
See, that's what I hated about running marathon out in Phoenix in January. It started out, it was, 45, 50 degrees, and then it was 90 degrees by the time we finished.
Yeah.
And I was like, I died. those last couple
I was going
miles.
to tell you, if you want to go to Idaho, just come to Phoenix and I'll drive you up with me.
Let's fly in. Hey, you need a driving partner anyway. That'd be fun. You didn't have as much room though to pack stuff.
Oh, I got a van, man.
Oh, you do? Oh, I didn't realize you had a van.
You're not going to put that much in it.
And I'm not that fat. Is that what you're trying to say? Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that.
No,
Oh, seriously, I'll think about it. I'll talk with the wife and
no, I wouldn't suggest anything like that. I would just,
that'd be fun for me to go. Drive with, hang out with you, and if you got a van,
Probably good to have somebody on the trip with you.
I'll say, yeah. Can I carve in the van while you go and just not cut myself?
Southwest flies into Phoenix.
Yeah, I think that's what I flew in last time I went out to Phoenix. So, all right, now I got two things to.
Yeah.
things to start looking
Check
for.
on those things and get back to us, Dave.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I'll write down notes so I can.
Oh.
Now you have to find the right time to talk to the wife about those things, though. So.
You want me to call her? Let me call her. I'll talk to her about it.
And I'll be in more trouble. Thanks. No.
Well, tell her that Rachel's going and they can hang out.
Well, I wasn't gonna take her.
Yeah, right.
Right
I guess if you flew to Dave's, you wouldn't have to.
True. Oh. All right. Let's make him look like Frankenstein.
Mr. Stetson, I wanted to take your bear class, but I had to pick between that or getting a heater. So I chose the heater.
The
And,
heater?
yeah, we got a diesel heater in here, so it's Arizona hot in here.
Ah,
It's 73 and it's 39 outside.
39.
Yeah.
We might get that low for a couple of hours come
Yeah.
January.
Well, that's our high today.
Oh, that's your high.
That's about what it is here.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
about where we are. We're supposed to get a little bit of snow.
Yeah, tonight.
Yeah.
That's what
Is
they're
that-
saying about here too.
Yeah, it's about 4, start about 4 or 5 o'clock.
All right. Hey Stetson, I told Haley that we were going out to Utah, and she's like, I don't know if I want to go to Utah. And I said, well, Dave Stetson's going to be there. And she's like, I'm going. So she'll be looking for you when we come out.
Oh,
She
she
was-
coming out with you?
Yeah, she's going to come out too.
She probably feels she has an unfinished obligation to teaching me Procreate.
Yeah, she may. She'll bring her iPad and show you. She'll have you animating before you know it. You should see
I'll
the
bring
stuff
mine,
she's doing.
too.
It's crazy.
I'll bring mine.
Dave, you're making your own videos. You're animating. You're going to start working for Ryan Green next. I mean, he's going to get you coming to be Disney animator. So
You know, Ryan produced that Moana 2 movie that just came out.
yeah, that's what I was telling my kids. 'Cause they
Yeah.
want to see it.
And to talk to him, you'd never know it. You know,
Yeah.
just so down to earth.
Another thing he told us, I heard it. I don't know if he told, I don't think he told me, but I must have heard it somewhere. But maybe he did. I don't know. When he does, maybe he mentioned it when he was on the
On our
IMDb
meeting, yeah.
thing, that if you watch the credits, they put some of their family members in the,
Oh, yeah.
into the
Anybody
credits.
who had a kid during the production of the movie, they put the names of the kids in the movie.
That's where he
Yeah.
where he mentioned it. He mentioned it on this.
Yeah. So his daughter's name was in the movie credits for, I think it was Moana 1.
Was it?
Or,
Yeah, it's first one. Yeah.
yeah. It's pretty fascinating to watch, what they're able to do with that stuff.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.